Stop selling and start branding and be visible.
So social media branding is an extremely important tool for you promoting your brand, Miss B Lifestyle. So can you tell us, first of all, what is social media branding and how is it important?
What is social media branding is basically means that you can be different, you can bring out who you are, and that's already a brand. Because if you can show it to the world, show it to the friends, family, and for a bigger audience, different sides of you is already branding. But of course, when it's your business or your startup, you can make it different by your just the logos, colors, and what kind of message do you deliver for the audience. So why is it important? It's important to be visible because if you keep on, let's say, I don't want to use that word, but boring, and you don't, you think that what you're doing is the right thing without showing to the bigger audience, then is it the right thing? So social media branding is where you should start from the beginning and test and see if this is what you're doing goes out to the audience. Because if more people see it, then you know that you are on the right way. And how can you reach nowadays for the bigger audience? The social media. So starting with your social media branding is a very important thing.
So for small and medium enterprises, it can be quite overwhelming because these are massive platforms with social media branding. So what would you say to companies that are looking to start out with social media branding?
Well, first of all, you need to show it to your audience who you are and what you're doing exactly. It doesn't need to be that now we are here, come and buy our things, or we would like to It needs to be you, where you started and why you started, because that makes the commitment with your audience, that they were like, oh, did you know that these kind of things, it doesn't mean that they're going to buy it, or it doesn't mean that they will become your fans immediately, but in a long term, being persistent and consistent, it will work out, because people will say, oh, did you know that this kind of thing happens because of that? That's branding, that shows who you are, not selling things, not being out there only because you want to reach more people. Once you're bigger, it's easier, but you need to know that when people walking on the street and they see certain colors or certain photos, that will link to them that, oh, I've seen that on the social media, that means this. So that means that you reach out with yourself as much as possible to show it to the world, that when they walk around or see certain things, that it clicks in their head, I've seen it on social media, I've seen it on Facebook, I've seen it on Instagram, I've seen it on Twitter, this must be the thing. So stop selling and start branding and be visible.
And so that's the content. So what platforms would you say are easier to start out with, and which ones are the best for being so interactive?
That depends which audience you're going for. If your business is more for the professionals, then definitely you start to look it from LinkedIn and you make the content for LinkedIn people. If you are more for the, let's say, for teenagers, or for the, let's say you're a clothing brand, then of course you look more for the Twitter and Instagram, because it's very active at the moment in terms of that. So you need to understand where your audience is, what they are looking for, and then according to this, you can make your decision and start showing to them who you are. But once again, stop selling.
Absolutely. And it must be quite difficult because on one side, you want to stand out from the crowd, you want people to recognize you, but you also don't want to take it too far and scare people away. So what would you say are the don'ts for social media branding? Definitely
is about that one day you're very active. You post 10 photos at the day by showing, and then it's a week, nothing comes. People will disappear, because nowadays we get so much information. It comes from everywhere. Everyone wants to show that they are someone and they do something. Another thing is being different, but at the same time looking what others are doing. But that means that you keep on being out there every day. And when someone is asking a question or interacts you, you need to be able to answer them as soon as possible. It's all like what you're doing every day when you are talking to people, when you're seeing them. That's what you can do socially, but you can reach out to a lot more people. So definitely keep on doing. Just don't stop. It will, I mean, in my experience, it works, but it does not happen overnight. Second, if certain things doesn't work, you've been doing it a year and you see that there's no interaction, then probably you're doing the wrong thing. So it's try to go back and start looking what I should do else. Plus, a third thing, don't be afraid of testing new things. Because pretty often with even my clients, what happens, they are like, no, we can't do this because it's not my thing. But how do you know it's not your thing when you haven't touched it? Like you don't know, maybe your audience is exactly looking at it. They want to reach out over there. So if you keep on being the black and white, it's not what I would recommend you to do.
Absolutely. So it's all about perseverance.
Yes.
So perseverance is definitely key. Well, thank you so much for coming today and sharing your insights with us.
Thank you.
Well, that's all from us, but for all the latest Dukascopy updates and exclusive interviews, do keep clicking back. Goodbye for now.